The time is 7:31 p.m. and I call the August 20th, 2024 meeting of Yardley Borough Council to order. Please stand for the pledge to the flag.
States of America, and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
May we have a roll call, please?
Mr. Carlson?
Here.
Mr. Feiner?
Present.
Ms. Siegel-Morris?
Present.
Ms. Scherer?
Present.
Mr. Applebaum? Mr. Stump?
Present.
Ms. Thompson is excused.
Okay, we have a quorum this evening. President Thompson is away, so I'll be chairing the meeting, and we have Councilperson Stump virtually connecting with us. We will start with Police Chief, hiring of part-time officer.
Thank you, sir. Yardley Borough is served by dedicated police officers who provide services on various shifts 24 hours a day and play a vital role in the efficient and effective delivery of services to Yardley Borough. We currently have vacancies for part-time police officers. We reviewed the applications. The applicant was interviewed by myself and Manager Johnson and then presented to the Public Safety Committee for examination. The panels who interviewed the applicant were satisfied with the candidate's knowledge, skills, background, and abilities. It is recommended to Yardley Borough Council that we conditionally hire Marquise Williams as a part-time Yardley Borough police officer. It is understood the offer of employment is conditional upon the candidate passing the required examinations and all the other Municipal Police Officers Education and Training Commission eligibility requirements. I respectfully request the council consider a motion to extend a conditional offer to hire Marquise Q. Williams as a part-time police officer pending certification from OPEC.
Do we have a motion?
So moved.
We have a second.
Good.
A motion made by Councilperson Siegel-Morris and seconded by Councilperson Scherer. Any discussion from council? Public? We'll do all those in favor, please say aye.
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 Any opposed? Abstained? Motion passes 6-0. 5-0, sorry, 5-0. If I mess up my math tonight, it has happened before. I'm usually good at math, but for some reason, I get very confused. Please do correct me. So, thank you, and
Do we have a minute?
we do.
Good.
We do.
Marquise, you want to come up?
Congratulations and welcome. So if we want to do photos, do you want to?
No, I think we just gave up.
Oh,
I don't know.
I guess it's up to the individual.
All right, so thank you everyone, as we always say, when we swear our new officers in, obviously this comes top down from Chief Kelly and his department. Marquise, we take the commitment you're making here at the borough very serious here. We appreciate that and thank you for your commitment and service to the borough. We look forward to a long relationship. So thanks for everything and let's be sworn in. All right, you guys, so please raise your right hand and repeat after me. I do solemnly swear
I do solemnly swear
that I will support, obey, and defend
that I will support, obey, and defend
the Constitution of the United States,
the Constitution of the United States,
the Constitution of this Commonwealth,
the Constitution of this Commonwealth,
and I will uphold the laws and ordinances
and I will uphold the laws and ordinances
of the Borough of Yardley,
of the Borough of Yardley,
and I will discharge the duties
and I will discharge my duties
of a non-civil service police officer
of the non-civil service police officer
of the Borough of Yardley
of the Borough of Yardley
with fidelity
with fidelity
and to the best of my judgment
and to the best of my judgment
and ability.
and ability.
Congratulations, welcome to Yardley Borough Police Department.
Thank you.
You got it. So again, Chief Kelly has started, as council knows, and people who are attending regularly, Chief Kelly has started a really great tradition to allow someone very special to Marquise, put his first pin on him. So is there one of these two gentlemen that you'd like to actually put your badge on for you?
Yeah, both.
Both of you guys okay with that? All right. So we don't want to have to seal it up. Right, yeah, if you can kind of, it is sharp, so nobody draw blood, and we'll be good. you go. Congratulations, sir. Chief, you want to jump in the picture real quick?
I know, I hate to be in it.
Camera, good. All right, guys, step away. All right, looking good. Ready, 1, 2, 3. Everybody's got the meme on. I love it. All right, good. You're all set. Congratulations, folks. You got it. Thank you. Thank you, everybody.
Thank you, and welcome aboard. All right.
Oh, we gotta get the flags back.
Get those back.
Where did I go? Where's it go? Back. Thank you.
Okay, thank you for putting everything back. Okay, our next item is community announcements. So we'll start with giving an opportunity to community outreach. And I will be using first names because I think of you all as first name people. So please excuse me for being less formal. It's just easier for me to not forget your last name. So Jared or Michelle, anything for community outreach? Any announcements?
I do. I'm very sorry, I'm grabbing something from your report, but I didn't realize it until I saw it today. I'm like, ooh, it's a duplicate, but that's okay, it's a good thing. Matt, the post office, what do you call, postal, what is he?
Letter carrier?
No, he's a
He's a clerk, the postal clerk.
postal clerk, thank you. Next door is retiring. And September 20th, the day before Harvest Day, is his last day. And he's a really sweet guy. If anybody has been in the, in the post office, everybody knows him, I think. And I just thought, it would be nice if, I'm not telling anybody what to do, but I'm just thinking it would be very nice if whoever can go over there and wish him good luck. And, I told him what a great, postal man he is, and that, he's very thoughtful and generous and kind. And I said, you don't find that every day. He's truly cares about people and tries to do his best for everyone. So, anyway, I just wanted to bring that up in case people didn't know, because if you don't go in there regularly, next time you come in, he might be gone.
Well, he is great, and I appreciate you bring that up. And it's just one of the joys of living in this nice small town that we have those kinds of interactions. So, thanks for sharing that. Are there any other community announcements from council? Anything from the public? Yeah, come on up. Welcome, Shirley.
Hello, I'm Shirley Lee Coursey, 195 South Canal Street, Yardley, and also the Executive Director of Gather Place Museum at the Old AME Church, 188 South Canal Street in Yardley. First of all, I just want to say it's so good to see this young man, a part-time police. Just as a frame of reference, I believe he's only our second African-American police officer. The last one, maybe Paula here may know, was Mr. William Nicholson. It had to be quite a while ago. So I'm happy to see the borough have this young man part of our community. Okay, I have a couple announcements. I'm happy to announce that Gather Place Museum at the Old AME Church in Yardley is now a Delaware and Lehigh National Heritage Corridor, the Delaware Canal folks. We are a trail-friendly location, and we are now able to accommodate many of the walkers and bikers that walk past South Canal Street. We're so close to Lock 5 of the historic Delaware Canal. I know many of you have been down there, so you know where we're at. But I think it's good that more of the public knows we're officially on the map. We're happy to represent Yardley with the DNL folks. They visited us 6 or 7 months ago and thought we're a historic location, and plus we're so close to Lock 5. And because of that, we qualify to apply for an amenities grant, a small grant that allowed us, my brother Michael headed that up, and we were able to get a picnic table. We have like a little water station, a bike rack, so when people ride by, I've seen your sons do that. They don't have to leave their bike on the street anymore. Anybody, please welcome to come down in our little patch of property. We're able to put a little bike rack, and we have picnic tables. So all these things, we were able to get this amenities grant, and we were able to match it and finish with, we got shrubs and things to make it really nice. We finished our little reflective patio on our property, and we used funds. I want to thank the Yardley Borough Parks and Recreation. They gave us a donation, and the Harvest Day Committee. So we matched that with the DNL grant to finish off our little patch of ground. So we welcome everybody to come down, take a walk and stop. It's like a little park. Come to the south side of Yardleyville Village. Historically, South Canal was geographically the lower end of Yardleyville. So we're happy, and I want you to spread the word that the south side, we have a green space now also. So please come down and join us. And my other announcement, this Saturday, August 24th, between 1 p.m. and 4 p.m., you can visit our green space. And also, it's our 2-year anniversary celebration. And we're just having an old school picnic. And I thank my neighbors on South Canal. One lady's donating hot dogs, and we're going to steam them in the back of our property. Bring the kids. We have a bouncy house that's coming for the day. So bring your kids and your grandkids and come down to South Canal and just stay a little while and see our progress. Come on inside the museum and see what else. We have other things that we're looking forward for 2025. You're going to be hearing a lot. We're also part of the whole Bucks 250. It's part of the celebration in 2026. Maybe some of you are aware of it. It's called Pennsylvania 250. It's the 250th celebration of our nation's founding. And Bucks County has assembled many museums and entities to also celebrate for Bucks County. And I'm happy to say that Gather Place was asked to be a part of that with our Bucks County Commissioner and several of the other Bucks County museums. So I'm glad that Gather Place is representing Yardley in our area with this whole 2026 celebration. And there's going to be things leading up to it. You'll be hearing more about it, and I'll be posting it on our Facebook and website. So come on down this Saturday on the 25th. Please come down and just see what we're about. Many of you have already visited, so come on back again. Mayor, we'd love to see you come on down and bring some friends and family and see what we're about. And we're just happy, 2 years, and we've had some great support from our community. And I really appreciate the warm welcome we've received since we've opened and restored the old AME church. So thank you.
Thank you so much just for your dedication, what you've brought to Yardley, and all that you've accomplished in 2 years. I'm listening to you and thinking, we need to learn from you how to be this good at
There's
acquiring
a
grants.
lot of our history that we love celebrating throughout Yardley that many people are not aware of.
Yeah.
Like knowing that this young man is only our second African-American police officer, and you'll learn more about the first, and our first mayor, who in 1977, we had the first African-American mayor in Yardley, who was the very first African-American mayor in the Commonwealth of Pennsylvania. He came from Yardley, and we ought to be proud of that.
Absolutely. Thank you so much. Okay. We will move on to public comment, and this is the portion of the meeting where members of the public can approach the table, state their name and address, and keep their comments to 3 minutes or less. Or do I have any public comments this evening? Okay, that concludes public comment. We'll move on to consideration of the consent agenda dated August 20th, 2024. And we have a whole bunch of items, 8 items here. So I'm going to read through them. Approval of minutes dated July 16th, 2024. Certificate of Appropriateness 24-13- corner of South Main and Buttonwood sign. Certificate of Appropriateness 24-15-62 South Main Street signs. Event permit Girl Scouts outdoor badge meeting September 7th, 2 to 4 Buttonwood Park. Consideration of FEMA-funded 93 North Delaware Avenue elevation certificate number 5. Consideration of FEMA-funded 93 North Delaware Avenue elevation payment certificate number 4. Consideration of FEMA-funded 81 North Delaware Avenue elevation payment certificate number 8, final. And consideration of FEMA-funded 81 North Delaware Avenue elevation payment certificate number 4, owner, final. Does any member of council wish to remove an item from the consent agenda? Okay. Do I hear a motion to approve the consent agenda as submitted? After we make the motion, and there'll be discussion from council, there'll be an opportunity for public as well. So does anyone like to make a motion to approve the consent agenda?
So moved.
Thank you. Motion made by Councilperson Siegel Morris. Do I have a second?
Second.
Seconded by Councilperson Scherer. With that said, do we have any discussion from council?
Oh, I had a question.
Yes.
And maybe Paula, you might know. When I looked through everything, the sign at the end of Buttonwood Drive, between the pictures and what was described, they're a little different. One was a pink sign. No, that doesn't matter. So I'm just curious. One was a pink sign with white letters, and then the other one that they had doctored up to make it look like what it's going to look like was like a white background with black writing on it. And white and black would be the most uniform with already what it is. So does anybody know what it really is?
I'm not exactly sure.
Okay. I was just curious because I'm like, I don't know. These are the inquiring minds things. Sorry.
Well, good eyes on that. That's interesting. But, yeah.
Check and let you know, Michelle.
Okay. Just curious.
Any discussion from the public on that? Yes.
Hi, Elise McGrath, 93 North Delaware Avenue.
Could you kindly just come up to the table because our mic is here and then we can hear you. Thank you. Sorry to, yeah,
Come up here.
just one mic, so.
Okay. Elise McGrath, 93 North Delaware Avenue. I was just curious about the owner portion. Is that for the courses or is that for the utility room?
I'm going to refer that to the engineer.
For the additional court, excuse me, that is for the additional courses.
Oh, okay.
Okay.
Is that the final for the courses?
Let me just pull up my information quick.
I mean, we know the courses are there.
Right. We have is for revisions to, what we have right now is payment for the additional courses was previously completed, and so the additional owner utility room items are for that amount. what we do have is, we have a retainage as well, withholding from the contractor.
Okay, can you explain that, like how much that is?
Yeah, what we're holding right now in the amount for retainage is a 10% retainage for $6,469.56.
So you're retaining 6,000?
We are, correct.
Okay, because we have not been able to see our inside of our house, so I have no idea.
Okay, okay,
I know that the siding isn't on.
right.
I know the window's not in. I can see that from outside, but I don't know, is it dry?
Okay.
Like, I have no idea.
Yeah. What I could do is just talk to Susan and ask her to give you a call for an update as well. And because we've been talking about going through scheduling a punch list. And so with that opportunity is we'll be doing a punch list with you and Jim to go through those and develop the preliminary punch list so we could issue that out to the owner, to the contractor.
Does the punch list, does that occur before the temporary occupancy or after?
It's going to occur after, so that you're able to get into your home, and then be able to. What I understand is right now is there's some furniture and other items that are stored. So once you're able to pull those out, you'll be able to. We could discuss those punch list items too.
Are we able to work on the punch list before the occupancy?
Before the final occupancy.
Before the whatever occupancy certificate we come in?
Yeah, what happens with these elevation projects that we discussed is there is a temporary certificate of occupancy so that we could get the contractor demobilized off the site, and then you're able to move in onto the site and you're able to work on your life safety elements, and then you're able to go and schedule with the borough for those code requirements, so you could obtain your final certificate of occupancy.
No?
I think I'm just thinking through, do you have a lot more questions? Or, because maybe we could take that conversation offline, or if you just like one or two more questions, I think we could do that now, but otherwise we just have a long agenda.
No, that's very
Sure.
true. I apologize.
Yeah, no, that's okay. I'd rather get it sorted out quickly if it can, but
Yes.
so go ahead.
It's hard because we have not had access to our house. We have no idea what's inside and outside, and that's where I get a little nervous about the punch list being made afterwards, because I have no idea what's happened inside of my
Right.
house.
And that's usually, that's always how it happens, correct?
Yeah, that is how it has occurred.
Because you want to do that at the end. To,
Like to do it
do it
before the
beforehand.
end.
Yeah, well, there's a
Like
catch. 'Cause you do
really
it
do it
beforehand,
before
and
the
then
end.
and then it's not, the way you expect. Yeah.
Yes, so,
And just so that you know, is the final payment is not issued or presented to the borough until there's a discussion about satisfying the punch list items.
okay.
Okay.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you. Okay, just to bring us back here, so we have a motion on the table, and I will call the question. All those in favor, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. Aye. Okay. Any opposed? Abstentions? Motion passes unanimously, 5-0. We will move on to the finance report. Paul?
I'm asking for consensus from council to accept the finance report dated August 20th, 2024.
Do we have consensus? Okay, it appears that we have consensus. Thank you. And we'll move on to the manager's report.
Okay, July review. The 2025 budget process is moving along nicely. Right to no's have cooled down. We only received 2 for the month of July. Both are closed out. We had no appeals. Zoning applications, we had 7 zoning applications. 2 of them were for new businesses in town. Zoning hearing board's going to have 2 hearings on Monday, the 26th of August. Building permits, 6 for the month of July, which seems to be light. 7 UNOs, 4 trash certifications. Real estate transfer tax for July was $18,669. And if anybody has any questions on my report, otherwise we'll move on to our next item. Okay.
Yeah.
First item I have is Resolution 2407, which is a plan amendment to waive the officer contributions for the police pension plan. And this is kind of like housekeeping. We have to do this every year as per the officer's contract. We waive contributions into their pension plan, so I'm asking council to approve for Resolution 2407.
Do we have a motion? Okay. Motion made by Councilperson Carlson and seconded by Councilperson Stiegel-Morris. Any discussion from council? Public? We'll call the question. All those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Aye. Any opposed? Abstentions? Motion passes unanimously, 5-0. Paula, let's move on to item B.
I'm asking council to approve the 2025 minimum municipal obligation for the police pension and the non-uniform as well. The police pension obligation for the borough is $83,922, and the non-uniform is $5,589. This is for 2025, so we put this into our budget already. We do get some state funding for the pension plan, so it's not 100% on the borough to give this, but we will have to pay this by December of 2025. So I'm asking council to approve them.
Okay, do I have a motion? And do we have a second?
Second.
Okay, motion made by Councilperson Stiegel-Morris, seconded by Councilperson Scherer. Any discussion from council? Public? We will call the question. All those in favor, please signify by saying aye. Aye. Any opposed? Abstentions? Motion passes unanimously, 5-0, and we will move to Part C.
My next is Resolution 2408. I'm asking council to vote to renew the winter maintenance with PennDOT. This is a 10-year agreement where the borough takes care of the state highways during winter with snow and ice. So we do the plowing, and they pay us so much per year, which we put into our general fund. For the first year, they'll give us $12,753. If we do not use this, just as an FYI, the money remains here. If we go over, there's a lot of times they'll do assessments. If there's been a lot of snow in that season, then they will give us more money as well. So I'm asking council to approve this agreement and resolution for the next 10 years with PennDOT.
Thank you. Do we have a motion?
So moved.
And do we have a second?
Second.
Okay. Or was that?
Me?
Yeah, okay. Motion made by Councilperson Scherer and seconded by Councilperson Carlson. Any discussion from council? The public? Oh, yes, go ahead.
Johnson,
Sorry.
is this what we currently have in place that we're just extending, or is this new?
No, this is extending.
Okay, got it. So, when there have been plows on like Main Street and Afton, the state highways now, those are plows that we're contracted with, or are those PennDOT plows as well? I'm just a little confused because I've definitely seen the plows that we contract with on the side streets, but I felt like I've seen PennDOT plows on the main roads in the past.
Say thank you. Yeah, it's our people are taking care of it.
Got it. Okay, gotcha.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Okay, any discussion from the public? We will call the question. All those in favor, please signify by saying aye. Aye. Any opposed? Abstentions? And the motion passes unanimously, 5-0, and we will move to finally Part D.
And my last item is asking council to vote to accept the 2024-25 salt bid. The current one-year contract with Riverside Construction, which is Sylvie Concrete, will end on September 30th, 2024. The Bucks County Consortium requested bids, advertised it twice. They opened up the bids on August 14th, 2024. So I'm asking council to accept Morton Salt's bid of $60.95 per ton delivered and $60 even undelivered.
Thank you. Do we have a motion to accept the 2024-2025 salt bid?
So moved.
Yeah, I think we got,
Second. Yeah.
okay, we'll give it to, motion made by Councilperson Stump, seconded by Councilperson Scherer. And any discussion from council? Actually, we'll start with myself, just curious, how does that differ? If you could just let us know how it differs from the previous year.
It's actually
pricing-wise. Cheaper, wow. And when does that happen, in this
I
era
know.
of inflation?
Happens when we don't have snow and there's stockpiles of salt somewhere.
They have to get rid of the
That's
salt.
what happens.
We should be charging them, is that what you're saying? Okay. Any discussion from the public? And then I will call the question. All those in favor, please signify by saying aye. Aye. Any opposed? Okay. I have to remember the delay. Any opposed? Abstentions? Motion passes unanimously, 5-0, and that will conclude the manager's report. We will move on to the engineer's report, starting with consideration of FEMA-funded 33 North Delaware Avenue reconstruction mitigation bid.
Thank you. Yardley Borough has received funding through the Severe Repetitive Loss Program administered by FEMA for this reconstruction mitigation in order to reconstruct the demolished home located at 33 North Delaware Avenue in Yardley Borough. The work consists of, but not is limited to, constructing the floors, the walls with openings where shown, construct roof structures, provide lintels for foundation, wall openings, install utilities and mechanical equipment, provide access to the structure, and restore all disturbed areas. We're requesting council's consideration to award the FEMA-funded 33 North Delaware Avenue reconstruction mitigation project. The bids were opened on August 9th, 2024 for this project. We have provided a copy of the letter of recommendation for award and the bid tabulation of the received bids. A total of 3 bids were received for this project, ranging from $186,000 to $575,000. No bid alternates were proposed for this project. Delta Inspection Services Incorporated is the lowest bidder in the amount of $186,000. RVE therefore recommends award of the base bid in the total amount of $186,000 to Delta Inspection Services, contingent upon funds being available and upon receiving authorization to award from all funding agencies.
Thank you. Do we have a motion for consideration of the FEMA-funded 33 North Delaware Avenue reconstruction mitigation bid? To accept the FEMA-funded 33 North Avenue, Delaware Avenue reconstruction mitigation bid. Wow.
So moved.
Thank you. Do we have a second?
Second.
Okay, motion has been made by Councilperson Scherer, seconded by Councilperson Siegel-Morris. Any discussion from council on this item?
Question, seems like quite a big range, 186 to 575.
Yeah.
Are we confident that the contractor at 186 is fully engaged to the scope of it?
Yes, sir.
Who is the crazy one? The low one or the high one?
I don't know.
Yeah. Okay.
Seems like a pretty wide range for this project.
Yeah.
Correct.
I think that does happen. Sometimes you get this sort of lottery effect where they say, hey, we'll pitch it in there. Maybe it'll come our way.
Maybe.
You know. Okay, thank you. Anything else? Yes.
I had the same question. Mr. Foley, are you able to speak to that at all, or is there not really anything to share on why the ranges are so large?
Sure, we could explain this is due to the FEMA funding, since this is the first total reconstruction mitigation project within the state of Pennsylvania. FEMA is really interested in watching, has been interested in this project moving forward. The budgets were set well before COVID for this project. There's a certain amount of money that's available for this project. The low bidder happens to be the homeowner for this project as well. That was a deciding factor. However, this homeowner has previously worked within the borough and lifted adjacent properties. So we're confident of him being able to construct this facility.
Okay, gotcha. Do you have a few examples of other properties that have been lifted by Delta?
Yeah, right next door, 31, North Delaware.
This is not, I just know I've heard with some of the elevations, there have been some companies that we've had issues with, but I'm assuming based on your recommendation, this is not one of them.
Correct.
And
We-
it's their own house, so they have a vested interest.
Right. Now, we had an issue with a contractor that no longer is, we don't allow them to do these projects
That's
anymore.
what I just,
And that's not
yeah,
Delta, yeah.
okay, yep, I joined council right in the middle of, I think that was the very first meeting when that was going on, so I just wanted to make sure since the range was so great.
Okay, so we have had discussion. Are you complete, Jared? You good to go? Anything else?
I think that's all on that one.
Okay. Any discussion from the public on that? Okay, we will call the question. All those in favor, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Abstentions? And the motion passes unanimously, 5-0. Our next item is consideration of FEMA-funded 112 to 114 Morgan Avenue elevation bid. Do we have a motion to approve?
So moved.
A motion and a second. So motion has been made by Councilperson Siegel Morris and seconded by Councilperson Scherer. Any discussion from council?
Yeah, I have same one on this one. So this is the property that I believe has been bid out to FEMA a couple times and has come back. And this one also the lowest bidder is the homeowner as well. And I'm just curious if they also, like the previous one, have experience with other houses, raising any other properties.
They do show experience of constructing and renovating homes. Actually, during the prior flooding events, they worked on addressing their homes in that facility as well. So we do feel confident of them able to perform the work.
Was there more? I don't know if there's a bit of a delay. Jared, was there any more on that?
This was the one that I had a few reservations about because of so I've done a little bit of research on this, and I just want to make sure that we've already approved one where it's the homeowner. Now we have a second one where it's the homeowner. The first one, they have experience with other properties. This one, they have experience in renovation, but not in raising. My understanding is there is no conflict of interest with a homeowner bidding on their own project with FEMA. Is that correct?
That is correct. We did have another homeowner that did within this round as well. So this is the third project that the homeowner has been involved with.
Okay.
And they're from their documentation, they're utilizing a lifting company that has done work in the borough as well.
Okay. Yeah, that was so my concern was when I did some research on the Garlitz group, what I found was that they're a commercial printing company primarily. And so I was confused as to how that transferred to raising houses. And so I just wanted to make sure, especially since they're coming in under the other bidders, that they have the expertise to complete the project.
Okay.
So I'm going to just to what he's saying. It's an interesting point he makes. So the homeowner is going to be the general contractor, essentially, right? And they're going to bring in the pieces, and that a lot of people do that, so no issue with that. But are you vetting the people that the homeowner is going to bring in to do the work as well? Because we
Yeah,
don't
I
want
mean,
them bringing in, obviously, they don't want it, but they may make the mistake, the amateur's mistake. And with lifting a house, we don't want that kind of mistake.
Yeah, we have Councilman Feiner, when we open these bids, Paula, Manager Johnson, as well as the floodplain manager, we discussed these elements so we're confident that they could perform the work.
Okay. And in the event that, like, let's say it fails, like they, doesn't work out,
Right.
how does that affect the borough?
Well, what we do have is part of this work, just like in other capital projects, is we do have the performance bond. And so the performance bond can be utilized to step in and work on that as well.
Okay.
Okay?
All right. Thank you very much.
Yes.
Any other discussion? Okay, so we will call the question. All those in favor, please signify by saying aye. Aye.
Corey, I'm abstaining from
You're
this one.
abstaining. Okay. So we have anyone opposed and one abstention. Okay, so the motion passes 4-0-1. And we will move on to solicitor's report.
Good evening. So as you know, we've been working on this closing for the Pico lot that's located at 100 Morgan Avenue. Closing on this is imminent. Basically, the two issues that remain is there's a corporate tax lien that's against all the real estate that Pico owns. Last week, they confirmed that they were going to go ahead and pay off the entirety of that lien, which would clear title. I have been emailing to get confirmation that that has been paid off since last week. I hope to have it soon. And then the only other thing we're waiting on from them is corporate resolutions that just basically authorize the signatory. So we should be sending out the deed package for them to sign as soon as we have those two things cleared up. I guess I might as well just move it forward. Under other business, there is a resolution before you this evening. It's Resolution 24-09.
Yeah, let's just take that up now.
Let's do it.
Part of it, yeah.
So as you know, back on September 19th, 2023, Borough Council provided approval to enter into an agreement of sale to purchase this lot that's located at 100 Morgan Avenue. It's tax parcel number 54-004-008. The purchase of that property included a $5,000 deposit and a purchase price of $55,000. There was some due diligence, some environmentals that were to be conducted. Those have all been completed. So the resolution's before you this evening basically to authorize the Borough Manager, Paula Johnson, and/or Caroline Thompson, the Borough Council President, to sign the deed package and the closing documents to finalize this transaction.
Amazing, amazing. Here we are. Do we have a motion?
So moved.
Okay, motion has been made. Do we have a second? Okay, motion was made by Councilperson Carlson, seconded by Councilperson Scherer. Any discussion from council? I will start us off by saying I can't believe we're finally at this moment of approving the purchase, which has been ongoing for, 4 years? A long time. 6 years?
Wow. Yeah.
Longer than we can remember, but sometimes things take a while. Thank you for your hard work and pushing it through when you haven't heard back for weeks or months and constantly trying again and again. It's very exciting for the borough. We're going to have this property as a trailhead and as something the community can use and for events and right on the historic canal. It's finally happening. And the whole thing, for those who don't know, was funded by a grant we received. So it's a win-win all around. Any other discussion from council on this one?
What's the projection of closing?
So initially, closing was supposed to occur on August 7th. When it became apparent that these documents were outstanding and they hadn't gotten them to us, we extended the closing to the end of this week. I've been in communications with the representative from PICO. His name's Will Tompkins. He's basically said, I'm getting these documents to you. I sent him an email today that said, look, if this drags into next week, are you okay with it? And I anticipate that there's no issue because we're ready, willing, and able to close on our end. It's just getting the documents from them. So hopefully, I can't imagine that this is going to go past next week. knock on wood with that, but it's really just a formality at this point.
Great.
Okay? Yes, go ahead.
We need a check for closing,
We will need a check for closing.
so we need to approve a check. Right?
Yeah, we've already authorized the purchase price, and it's part of the resolution. Yeah, so.
And the whole closing cost, we know the exact value of what the check needs to be and all that?
The closing costs, once the closing statement's completed, when we have the exact date of closing, that'll have those additional costs.
So once you know that, you can do the check. Okay.
Okay. Wonderful. Any discussion from council on this matter? Okay. Well, here we are. I will call the question. All those in favor, please signify by saying aye. Aye. Any opposed? Thank you. Any opposed? Abstentions? And the motion passes unanimously, 5-0. Thank you. How exciting. Okay. So we're not going to break for executive session. So meeting is not fully over because there will be a vote afterwards, and then we'll adjourn. For those of you who are not interested in that, you're welcome to go, or you can stay. But for this particular part, executive session, it's just going to be council. So,
We're going to get going.
I missed a page.
I think we're all happy. to
We're
see-
on mayor's
Hold
report.
but-
No, you know what? I moved down to the other thing. I never moved back. Okay. Strike everything I just said, and we will move on to, I'm sorry, Mr. Mayor,
No worries.
mayor's report.
So now I have an hour and a half report for you. So, no, just real briefly, we had a very robust Yardley Borough on-air radio show today promoting Restaurant Week. I wanted to thank, again, the Yardley Inn, the Continental Tavern, and the Vault Brewing Company for providing some food to feed the radio staff and other guests today. So that's my report. Thank you.
Thank you, Mayor. And we will move on to council member reports, starting with Councilperson Siegel Morris, Public Safety Chair, General Government Member, Experienced Yardley, and Yardley Mayfield Fire Company.
Sure. I know that Canalween planning has already started taking place, and that Music Off Main is doing very well. They're having a great turnout every week, getting a lot of donations, and the audiences are engaged. As far as public safety is concerned, you are all, different committees were emailed from Wes in July. The draft language for you to comment on regarding the event ordinance. As of yet, nobody's provided any feedback on that. So I believe that we will bring that to the next meeting so we can vote on advertising to advertise that ordinance, right? Is that how that works? And that also, let's see, public safety regarding the fire company. We're gonna, in the future, be looking at replacing the valves in the fire hydrants. Some are privately owned and some are publicly held, and the fire company is asking that we replace the valves. It allows for a quicker hookup, should there be a fire, not gonna, there is not, but that they can get water flowing more quickly. So we'll be looking at that in the future. And also our donation to the fire company, it's remained stagnant for, I think, 30 years.
It's time.
Wow.
Yeah, it's time. And that is it for this evening.
Thank you. And we'll move on to Public Works, which is me. And I have a few items. One is the North Main Street Sidewalk Phase 3 is progressing on schedule. And I'll just pause for a moment. Am I right? Anything new where we're all design work and?
Yeah, we're right now in the design work process. What we're looking at is being able to submit to PennDOT by the end of the second week in September.
Okay, great. Thank you. And in terms of the Dolington extension, that grant was applied for, and we did hear, Paul, did we hear that they're going to be awarding those grants a little bit sooner?
Rumor.
Possibly? Rumor?
Yeah.
Yeah, so maybe we'll,
Nothing official.
our hope is that if we do win that grant and it's awarded sooner, that we could maybe tie the construction together of both those parts, because that would be a home run, as well as the construction for what Lower Makefield is doing, the other side of that sidewalk, the extension to that sidewalk. So a lot of potential there for things to come together. You never know with these things, but let's hope they do. Moving on to another item is, of course, we went over the Pico lot, and it's just great to finish. What we'll be looking to do there is once we acquire the lot, we'll be looking to finish our discussions with DCNR to close out our agreement to do the Mary Yardley Bridge and fix up that area and create some sort of access to the canal that is accessible, because they would like that, and it's a good idea. And we'll figure out how to get that done and potentially work on leveling that lot a bit, or anything that we need to do to kind of make that more usable, at which point we could then look to raise money to do nice things to it, and that may be a community effort. As far as the other piece of property that's being donated to us, Judy's Garden, we're going to put that up to zoning in September, because we have to get approved for the use of that, and so the donor is going to put that up. We're going to be working with the donor to put that up in front of zoning, and the donor has already gotten plans drawn up for how to kind of design the property to make a nice garden there at his expense, and has also acquired a beautiful statue that was created by an artist, a sculptor who has created sculptures for Grounds for Sculpture. So this is shaping up to be something really nice for Yardley. I'm very excited for it, and it's all coming together thanks to the generosity of the donor in the name of his late wife. And that's it for me, and we'll move on to Councilperson Carlson, General Government and Community and Economic Development, Sewer, Zoning Hearing Board.
Relative to general government, we received inputs from, I think, all the departments on their wish list for 2025. We're pulling that all together now, and there'll be several iterations we're going to go through with each department to work through that in accordance with the schedule we issued for the budget last time. So that's moving along. The other thing, too, in community and economic development, our plan is we've gotten a first draft at a short-term rental ordinance, proposed ordinance, so working with solicitor to clean that up. And then hopefully at the next meeting, the September 3rd meeting, we'll have more discussion on what the key elements of that will be, and then the steps going forward to get planning commission involved and public hearings, et cetera, to move that process along. That's it.
Okay, thank you, and thanks for all your efforts. Busy season for the budget. We appreciate your diligence on it, and Paula as well. Thank you. Okay, and we'll move on to, let's see.
Jared.
We don't have, yeah. We're going to
Michelle.
move on to Michelle, Councilperson Chair. I'm remembering all the last names today, so, see,
No report.
yeah, no report, okay, and Mr. Stump.
So on the Yardley Business Association front, just a couple of events that are coming up. Maybe this should have been under community announcements. I apologize, I'm doing it here. On Tuesday, September 17th, they are hosting a guest speaker at FC Works. It's open to anyone. It's called Unlocking the Power of Creativity in Business Communication with Will Dennis. They've been doing these about once a month, where they have a different guest speaker come in. And it's been really cool to see the stuff that's happened with YBA. They've really ramped things up this year. And then also on Saturday, October 19th, they are doing the Yardley Beer Fest again in Fitzgerald Field, and tickets for that are on sale now. They can be purchased online at yardleybusiness.com/Yardley Beer Fest. Excuse me. Then on the, just a second here. Sorry, my screen is not big enough, so I'm opening multiple windows here. On the community outreach front, a couple things we had happen in July. When we did the punch list for the Mary Yardley Bridge, I collaborated with Manager Johnson. We created some cool graphics and did some posts to alert people of when the bridge would be closed, when the towpath would be closed, And I also did some videos on site at the bridge. And one thing I noticed was we got a lot of engagement on the videos, kind of walking people through and visually showing them, this is what we're doing, this is what we're referring to. I think the thing I'm kind of coming to see is that there are a lot of things around Yardley and really in any town that they have official names, but to locals, they don't always know the official name. They just know the bridge that's down here. I even remember my wife had a conversation with her that was kind of funny. She realized for the first time it was Mary Yardley Bridge. She thought I was saying Mayor Yardley Bridge this whole time. So I explained to her that it was not. So we'll have
Not
to,
yet.
Yeah.
Stone Bridge somewhere else. We'll work on that. But anyway, I saw a lot of success with the videos, and so I think when we have future projects, especially when phase 3 of the sidewalk ramps up and some of these bigger projects, I think it would be really cool to do some more videos and post them online just to kind of walk people through the behind the scenes. And really the way that I see it is that kind of heads off some of the complaints before they start if we walk people through. I've said this before, we bore people with information, and I think there's some people that are actually excited to learn about the process of how much goes into creating stuff like this. So if anybody has any ideas, I'd love for you to reach out to me. Anyone on council or anyone on our staff or even anyone in the community who wants to get involved in stuff like this, if you have an event or something going on, I'd be happy to help facilitate that. I don't just want it to be all myself making videos. And so that's your official warning, Vice President Feiner. I'm going to be pulling you into making some more videos. So you can get ready for that.
Awesome.
Righty.
Awesome, and thank you also for the work you did in publicizing the work being done on the Mary Yardley Bridge to close that out. They're just, over communication, I think, is better than under communication.
We definitely a lot of things were finished ahead of schedule too, which was really great. I mean, there were times where we communicated that the towpath was going to be closed, and then when I went down and spoke to the contractors, they said, "No, we don't need to close it. We can just kind of figure it out as we go." So sometimes things do change, and sometimes they change on the fly, and the information isn't always right. But I'm more of the mindset of let's over communicate, and if we have to edit the communication, let's do it rather than not communicating because things might change. So anyway, another piece that we worked on that was much more controversial, we released the updated Yardley parking map on social media, and got lots of great feedback. This is one of my first projects, and I'm kicking myself a little bit for picking one of the most controversial things to be my first project. I'm excited to report that this was all put together at no cost to the taxpayers. I will say, because I did receive a request for an edit, because I am self-financing this through my company, the rounds, we did 4 rounds of edits, it's closed. I did receive a suggested edit that I filed away for future when we have to redo it down the road. But I'm excited because we have a map that's now readable, and really I think one of the greatest purposes for this, rather than being posted on our website, is that when there's people asking on social media and in groups all the time, there's conversations about parking, and there's people even that live in Lower Makefield that maybe aren't within walking distance like we all are, that say, I'm so confused by parking in Yardley, and to have something visual that we can point them to and show them that, hey, there's actually a lot of spaces, you just have to know where they are. We received lots of fun comments. I will say one of the things that is there was a lot of chatter that we have this massive parking problem in Yardley. I would actually say I travel extensively, and I go to places where you have to walk quite a ways for parking. In fact, when I was in New Hope with my wife a few weeks ago, there was a borough-owned parking lot, sorry, let me take that back. It appeared that it was a municipal-owned lot based on the signage. I don't know that for a fact. But this parking lot, which was still a pretty good walk from downtown, was $15 an hour. And for any fraction of an hour, you had to pay for a full hour. So it would have cost my wife and I $45 to park there for dinner. We actually backed up away from the arm, turned around, and went and found street parking for $5. But that street parking, first of all, it was $5. Our parking in Yardley is all free. But it was about a 15-minute walk. We actually ended up being 25 minutes late for our dinner reservation, and we left with plenty of time because we were looking for parking. But, we had a great time. It was a great evening, no complaints. And, I would say when you compare it to other places, we we don't have this massive parking problem in Yardley that it's maybe made out to be. You know, there are peak times on weekends where you can't park right in front of the business you want to go to, but I would say I've lived here 7 years, and I have never lived more than a quarter mile from downtown. My first apartment was above Starbucks, and Yardley was a really happening place when I first moved here, but now it's just really exploded, and there's lots of people locating businesses here, first-time entrepreneurs, even people that they had this dream that they had the courage to follow and pursue, and they picked Yardley to pursue their dream. I think it's really, really cool, and I'll gladly deal with the parking problem if we're encouraging entrepreneurship and people are coming here and supporting our small businesses. So anyway, that's all on that note. On
Well,
public works,
let me just say thank you for your efforts on that. And of course, it's the common new council person's trap. Mine was the website where you think you're doing this simple thing and it becomes controversial. But it's a rite of passage. Now you're on the other side and we have a better parking map. It may not be perfect, but it's certainly better than what we started with. So we're making progress.
everyone thinks that.
Well, and I think, we'll figure out how to distribute it because I think that's the main thing. And to quote former councilperson Jeff Bueller, who I served on my first term, he said that that demand for parking is not a parking problem. A parking problem is when you have spaces that no one wants to park in. And we've all been to towns like that. So we should be, I suggest we have gratitude that we have these kinds of problems to solve, not the businesses can't stay open issues.
Right.
Anyway, go on.
Oh, the last thing is just on a public works front, and really wanted this to be a little bit of a discussion because I had some things I wanted to get clarity on, just to improve communications. So on Saturday, August 3rd, we had a tree that fell in front of that. It fell on, I believe it was Friday the 2nd. It was during the dinner hour at the Yardley Inn. I found this out through the grapevine because I was trying to get home from somewhere. I've had a lot of travel delays lately with the weather that's been going on. And so I'm in a local resident Facebook group for Rivermar, and so Saturday at 2 p.m. I saw they posted that a tree fell, and so I wanted to go check it out, not realizing that it had fallen for the night before. Pico, understandably, with the storm, took them about 24 hours to get out and remove it because it was actually a branch from a 300-year-old sycamore that had fallen on a wire and was hanging in the wire, but then also hanging down to the road. So the police blocked it off, it was closed and everything on that note. But one of the things that I wanted to kind of get some clarity on is I know we had a tree that fell in February and closed down Main Street, and I felt like we did. That closure was about 4 hours. And I know there was an email blast that Manager Johnson put out to all of us on council. I believe she even texted us. We posted on the Facebook page, the police Facebook page. We really did a good job of communicating with the residents what was happening. Obviously Main Street is our most significant street. But I would say that River Road, especially by the Yardley Inn, is our second most important street because with that road closed, people in Rivermar have no way to get to the borough via car without going couple miles north into Lower Makefield and coming down and around. With this closure for 24 hours, we did not have any communication. I know it was over a weekend, so that might have affected things. Like I said, I didn't even know about it till the next day, about 20 hours in. And I'm just curious, Manager Johnson, if you can, sorry to put you on the spot, but if you could speak to it a little bit. I know we have plans in place for these things, but is there a plan specifically for communications and like what meets the threshold of when we need to communicate to the public and to council and let people know just kind of what's going on and what our plan is if it does take Pico longer to address the issue?
Since this was not Main Street, it wasn't as urgent as Main Street was when that was closed. So it was a branch that fell. It had wires in it. Therefore, we would not touch it because we don't want any of our public works people, any of our police officers, anybody, any council people to get zapped by something that they're unsure of. So we really strongly recommend waiting for the professionals to take care of it. If it was going to go longer, then yes, we would have communicated it that it was going to be closed for a long period of time. The police department did their job. They called Pico right away. They called Ken Smith, but like I said, there was wires in it, and we're not going to put our people in that predicament. So that's the main reason why there wasn't massive email blasts and stuff. If it was Main Street, it's a different story.
So I'm just, yeah, go ahead, sorry.
I just have a comment. I'm sorry. I've lived in many places, and I don't remember any of the places that I lived in kind of letting out the whole neighborhood know, like every time a branch fell, or there was a road that, you know, was like, you weren't able to pass for a while, because if you come up to the road and you see it, well, you know, you turn around. So maybe I'm missing something here, that I don't think we need to let everybody know every little thing that happens in the borough sometimes. Like a tree branch it's not like the whole tree, and it's like Manager Johnson said, that it's going to be there for a week, and now people have to make other plans to get to work. I don't know. I think maybe we just have to be careful not to tell everybody everything that, you know, like branches to me, I'm like, I don't know. I pulled a branch off of Main Street, and I didn't let anybody know that it was, you know, they might have to go around it until I could pull it out of Main Street. So I don't know. I'm not quite understanding maybe the urgency.
Right. I think we're calling it a branch to kind of try to downplay.
I was there when it fell down. I was in the restaurant.
Now, let's just bring it back, because, yeah, we just, I'm going to let you finish your report, and then maybe we'll, you know, there'll be a follow-up to this, but go ahead.
Might be something we need to take offline further. And again, this is the spirit of this is not to put anyone on blast and say anyone didn't do their jobs. Everybody did do their jobs. It was just, I know when I came about it as a resident or as a council person, there's a natural curiosity of what's going on. Because I am a council person, when I see something, you know, my thought is like, oh, is this being taken care of? What's going on here? You know, what's the line of it? And so I guess the thing that I would just ask is that there would be, when we do have a major, I mean, if my street's closed, the whole borough doesn't need to know about that. But when we have a major road closure, I think it's important to let people know that we're I don't know what I'm trying to say.
I guess my intake and my take on that is, I look at things like that if it's a concern and everybody needs to know, I look at the police chief, you know, I look at the borough police, you know, either the website or their, you know, Facebook page. They put all the stuff that's kind of like urgent for people to know. And I look for their stuff.
And I think I could speak to that. We have set protocols for emergency notifications to me. We have set protocols in the police department for emergency notifications to the manager and to the mayor. And these things, a branch does not rise to the emergency notification after hours to me, Paul, or the mayor, absent of injury. We have shooting of a police officer, shooting by a police officer, major injury to a police officer, building collapse, fires. All of these things are covered in our general order. But there has to be a line, otherwise we'd be going 24 hours a day making notifications.
So I think this is a good discussion. I'm going to just jump in, because I think this maybe has value to continue, maybe as part of community outreach, to figure out public safety, right? Well, it's also the communication. There's a maybe both committees play a role in it, but I guess some things we have that we do are kind of, they're done that way because they've been done that way, but maybe there's no like written process that everyone's aware of, especially for council people. So maybe it's something that could get documented.
But I'm telling you, we do have a written process for emergency notification,
okay.
and this doesn't rise to that.
Right.
Usually, especially since the reduction of police officers nationwide, we're running with one in this borough all the time.
Yeah.
An increasing number of calls, right? They can't, what we're asking them to do has to be limited at some point. where they're doing their job and not reporting about their job all the time.
Sure, otherwise,
And
the documentation.
otherwise,
would
we're
take-
just, I mean, the other night I was going home, there was an accident in front of Continental Tavern at the lot. I was forced to do the traffic at Dolington and Maine on my way home.
Right.
And do that for a half hour. And I certainly didn't, everybody had questions coming. I certainly didn't have the time to answer everyone's questions. And that's unfortunate, but it's a reality, not just in Yardley Borough, but in every police department around the country right now.
And also-
Yes, I want to get that information out, but to Mrs. Sherritt's point, there is a time when we have to hit barricades, and we're not going to know the entire backstory. The other night when I was doing traffic, everybody who stopped wanted to know the entire backstory. Where is it stopped? Why is it stopped? Who is involved? And that's just, it's not a reality that we can deliver to.
I think that and I think that your department is very, it's very systematic in how that approaches. And I think what I'm hearing, maybe I'm not hearing exactly, is Jared mentioning is kind of like when it's not at that level where it's on your level, but there's still, maybe the question being posed is, at what point should there be some communication to residents, more on the PR side, like, hey, So anyway, it just sounds like an interesting question, and I think we could end it, yeah.
Just real quick, I'd like to defend borough manager and the staff and the police department. I think River Road is probably the road we've communicated about the most in terms of closings in the entire borough, if you look back at water events. So, it's not that, we're lessening River Road over any other road. River Road is probably the road we've communicated most to the public over the past 10 years.
Yeah. I'm not hearing any complaints. I'm not hearing it that way. I'm hearing as, what the question of what's the point at which that happens. And I think it's good to get clarity, personally.
It sounds like if it's really dangerous, then we'll know about it.
If
But
it's
if it's an
dangerous.
inconvenience.
Right.
Okay, well, I've been on my way from Mount Airy Manor down here and had to turn around, go around the other way. Was it fun? No, but oh well.
I don't need to know about that ahead of
I
time.
mean, and that wasn't a Yardley thing, that was a Lower Makefield thing. You're just
Right.
gonna.
Because we close roads on almost every accident. Sometimes 20 minutes, sometimes
Sure.
40, sometimes 60, right?
And
And it's impossible for us to transmit that
Right.
information.
And the people that want to know are probably the ones driving, and you're not going to be looking at your phone while you're driving, so, right? So, I'm sorry.
I think we can move on from this point. I think we exhausted the top, yeah.
I would like to say something before I close this out. So here's kind of the angle where I'm coming from this. So, I'm newly elected to the council. I initially said that I didn't want to chair a committee, but then President Thompson asked me if I would chair community outreach. My job description is to be a liaison between council and the public. On a regular basis, people in the public ask me why the borough doesn't communicate more. I totally understand the point about everything that's going on, but I feel like even me bringing it up to have a conversation, there's just all this jumping on and defending. Of course, I'm not attacking the police department. I mean, Chief, you know what a strong advocate I am for the Yardley Police Department. Manager Johnson, you know what an advocate I am for you and for the staff. And I just feel like we're doing the people of Yardley a disservice if we can't even have a conversation about how we can make something better. I'd love to take time, Chief, to talk with you more in the future about what the processes are, just so I can understand them. Because people come to me when things happen, and when I tell them I don't know, their response is, how do you not know you're an elected official? And I get really tired of just throwing my hands up and saying, I don't know. And I'm almost halfway done with my term, and I don't want to do that for my entire term. So that's where I'm coming from with this. This is the position that I was put in, so I do feel a responsibility for the people of Yardley. And obviously with an accident, that happens and is cleaned up within an hour. This was closed for 24 hours. And we did our part, and then we were just waiting on Pico. At the very least, I would love, again, I know it was a weekend, so maybe that's the issue, is if it's a weekend or after hours, there's not going to be notification. That's fine. I just felt very dark, and there was all this communication about this other one in February, and I'm just curious as to why there wasn't one here. Is there a process? Is there a plan, or do we just kind of take them one at a time? So I hope people don't feel like I'm trying to attack you, because that's not the angle I'm trying to come from. It's to understand and to see how we can make things better.
Thank you for sharing that, and I recommend you take it up, in your committee and see if things can be improved. I think there's always room for improvement, and especially if you're out there talking to people and you sense that from people. I agree with that approach. In any case, we're going to move on now. Is that you're going to conclude your report? Okay. Thank you very much. So we will now finally break for executive session, and we will come back in a little bit for a vote before we adjourn.
Councilperson Feiner, if I may, just before we cut off the video. Under the Sunshine Act, you are allowed to discuss personnel matters in a closed meeting. Through discussions with the borough manager, my understanding is that there's no official action actually being contemplated this evening. So a vote's not necessary, just to have basically an administrative function attached to those discussions on personnel.
We do have a vote to send a letter of performance on the agenda. That would be after the executive session.
Yeah, so because you're not actually taking any official action, you're not changing any type of contractual relationship.
Correct, nope.
It's just a discussion about personnel. It's okay to just do that in the closed session.
Okay. Thank you very much for clarifying. Thanks for being here. Thanks for covering the
Will
time.
excuse Chief Kelly if he chooses to?
Yes.
Thank you.
Thank you, Chief. Thanks for your time.
Thanks, sir.
To call in, but I think we should.